All right, we're ready.
All right. We welcome those watching online because we only have one person in the audience, but we welcome you too and all members of the CIC tonight to our August 6th meeting. And we'll start right off with roll call.
Alphabetically, myself, Dennis Anderson. Kanema, Linda,
Here.
Two Rivers, Gaffney Lane,
Amy White.
Park Place. Here. Hillendale. Here. Tower Vista.
Here.
McLaughlin.
Here, James King.
Yes. Rivercrest.
Karen here.
Caulfield.
Mike is excused.
Mike is excused. And Barkley Hills. No one here. Okay.
All right. So first up is public comments. If we have any, not seeing any, we will move on to staff liaison updates from questions at the last meeting.
Okay. At the last meeting, I was not here, and I didn't quite get a chance to look at the video, so please let me know if I'm missing anything. But I know there was a request to get the update for the postcards, and I apologize. I've not been able to connect with Katie Riggs on that, so I will send it out on an email, I promise. Girl Scouts honor. I will send it to email once I get it from Katie, and so you'll be able to see what the neighborhood associations have spent to date on postcards. Talk later, but National Night Out is tomorrow, and Oregon City, we're coordinating the CIC with Public Works in the library, so we'll have a nice big tent. We can talk about it later in the meeting. Two more updates for you. If you recall, a couple months ago, Kristen Brown came to talk a little bit about kind of roles and responsibilities of CIC, and there was a request to kind of put this really beefy 3-page letter into a more user-friendly format. So she started to look at a flyer, but she got really inspired, and she's looking at doing a small little video kind of about who the CIC is and in a sense, almost kind of be a little recruiting tool for the CIC. So I'm gonna get a draft of it soon. I'll share it with you, but I saw the initial draft and it's really cool because Kristen does really cool things. So I think you'll actually be pleasantly surprised. It's much better than a flyer. And so we can share that out, put it on social media, put it on our website to give a little 1.5 or 90-second who we are as a CIC and encourage people to join because we do have openings. And we have two presenters next month in October because we don't have the September meeting. So even though we don't have any tonight, Friends of Trees will be here in October to talk to you about their upcoming planting. So that's very exciting. And the neighborhoods they'll be going to, as well as DOCA will be giving an update of what they've done this year and what their plans are in the future. So we'll have two really great presentations in October.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't seen that yet. Okay. One of the things, I don't know if you caught or passed on, is that it came up that we would, I don't remember, do you guys remember, we wanted to have code enforcement do a presentation.
Okay.
So you might watch that part of the video because we were talking about code enforcement. That's another thing I had on my notes. Okay. Next, grievance committee update. Chair Johnson.
Well, at 5:30 this afternoon, we started a grievance committee, and we processed through all phases of it and came up with a tentative recommendation to the CIC, which will be include the documentation and findings due to the CIC in October, as I understand it, because we do not have a September CIC meeting.
Because of Labor Day, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So we will watch for that in October. General business. Work plan number 1, goal 3 is developing resources to help maintain active neighborhood associations. If you remember, we tabled that last time as we all looked like deer in headlights and there weren't a lot of people here. So we have brought that back. So at this time, did you have a staff report you want to do too before we open it for discussion, or just?
No, I left the
open that up?
questions up on the wall, on PowerPoint if that helps the discussion. And one more thing in your packet, when the public involvement plan was created, a subcommittee did a brainstorming session about barriers and ways to overcome them, and there was a little 2 pages of notes. So I printed those out today, and those are on your dais as well. They might provoke some conversation.
All right, did anyone come tonight with ideas that they would like to share? Wow, we must all really think this
That's good.
public involvement plan has covered everything.
Twice.
Twice. So there was a question that Christina and I talked about, which was a great thing, is, so a while back, we decided in our goals that we wanted to get out there in the into the community, and we were trying it twice a year. We were going to do the safety fair and the National Night Out, but we've determined, we voted not to no longer do the safety fair because it wasn't exactly hitting just our community. It didn't feel like the right place. So we were thinking, looking at this public involvement plan and other ideas that we had in your brains that might be back there and you don't know you have yet, is there something else that we can do as the CIC to get out there in the community? Is there some, maybe it's not an event, maybe we host something, or is there some other way to get so the CIC can get out there and promote neighborhoods? Like we do at National Night Out. Linda?
Perhaps at the downtown Main Street. Again, that's not necessarily all Oregon City. That was an event where lots and lots of people come. Or perhaps have a tent down when they have the concerts in the park. Do something like that.
You want to borrow our snow cone machine?
Yes, I would, especially,
Oh, no, we don't have food handlers. We don't want to get involved in that again.
I don't know, just things to do that are up where people come to meet. And if you're out doing those events, perhaps you're the type of person who gets out and gets involved in other things. I don't know, just a thought.
Yep, that's what we're looking for, brainstorming ideas.
So we used to have a booth at the farmer's market once a month. And I guess we lost the volunteers or the impetus. And we've put on some emergency preparedness presentations.
So like maybe the CIC could sponsor an event.
Yeah.
Be kind of interesting in the spring to kind of offset National Night Out,
Yeah,
do our own emergency fair.
okay. Yeah, that bears looking into. Any other,
Well, I think we touched here, I'm reading something about communication. I think it's where we fall down. I think a little bit more of broadcasting what we do at the CIC and how it sort of dovetails in with the city would be beneficial to promote the cause and draw more people's interest into becoming a member, or at least sharing in the audience what really goes on once a month here. And I don't know where that could be done. The ideas of booths in Main Street would be good, but, maybe with, certainly with people coming in, I know in my own area, Kenema, that when people are coming in to get permits and things to build or renovate, along with that documentation would be like, an encouragement to that this exists and it's made up of like neighborhoods with the same kind of needs and questions, and maybe we could be more of maybe there's ways along the lines of communicating what better things we do as a CIC. And I don't think that's well known. In fact, I'm pretty sure, we talked earlier about how we could bring informally the members here, at least annually, to see in fact what it is that we're about, which neighborhoods we are a part of, and how we can, share the share the whole thing. And I think anything along those lines would be plus. And I think it would encourage both attendance and also membership.
I was thinking a lot, wondering if we could use some of our funds in some type of advertising because the funds have to be used to promote attendance at neighborhood meetings. So if we had some kind of an advertising of the website or, I wondered if we could do some kind of fun advertising that would get people's attention and draw them in. I don't know, on a TriMet bus or a billboard or a park event.
Sure. For the CIC or for the individual neighborhood?
The CIC.
association? I don't think so there's value there.
I think we need to promote
I'm just
involvement in the neighborhoods.
I mean, the CIC can be generic, like join your neighborhood association.
What if it was some type of static display, like at the library or the Pioneer Center or something like that? It wouldn't necessarily have to be manned, but it could have information out there, where to contact, how to find out more information, stuff like that.
Yeah, especially like if the elevator's gonna build their little kiosk.
Get locals. So does the leasing agent down at the Cove have information on their neighborhood association?
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's actually going to be residents down there now.
Do you know when
They're leasing
They have,
now.
I know, but do we have any guess on occupancy time?
I don't think till October.
Okay,
Yeah, they don't.
so we have time to take them down some of these flyers.
Traffic, what's your nightmare?
Two Rivers.
Okay, you said library, where else did you say?
Like the library, the Pioneer
Pioneer
Center,
Center.
any place where people stop by, somewhat frequently, you can just have a little sign or display and something like that up.
I like that idea.
Elevator's good too.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other,
Would that go along with, I wasn't involved in this, but whenever you move into a new neighborhood, some towns have the welcoming wagon committee with usually women running it because they're a little more social than the men running it. But as the Cove as an example, do we have anything that we could prepare to have a packet or brochure about the city, assuming some of this population will be first time in the city?
does Chamber do any
Welcome
welcoming?
Wagon is all digital now. It's interesting, it's not the ladies carrying baskets around anymore. Some of the realtors will give you like a packet of coupons and online specials. But we looked into what Welcome Wagon was nowadays, and it's gone high tech.
So does the Chamber put anything out there to those realtors, or the realtors just
No.
collect, they just make their own?
It's through what I found when I was working at Chamber, because we were trying to figure this out. It's through what was originally the Welcome Wagon program, but it's gone more to the digital coupon. And that there's some places still where people will come to your door and hand you the packet of digital coupons.
So is there still an organization out there?
I don't think
called-
there's anybody active in Oregon City doing it.
Okay,
Somebody can correct me, but
but it's a brainstorm
I couldn't
deal. I'm
find
gonna write it
anybody.
down. Okay. Any other ideas? We sat in on that. Weren't you there during the neighborhood? Didn't you help come up with this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I used all my ideas up then.
Yeah, I could say. Yeah.
And one thing that we were talking about, the postcards and how, is that the right way to use the money? But then we also see if we don't send any postcards, we get no one. And I think there's a generational issue there too, and some people just don't go to meetings a lot of times. And so one of the things we need to look at is how are we getting our minutes and what we've talked about? How are we sharing that? Like, it's easy for us to say, okay, we came to the CIC, but when you leave here tonight, where does what we talk about go? Does it just go in your bag and stays there till the next CIC? Do you take it to your steering committee meetings and share it there and then it ends there? Do you take it to your neighborhood meeting and it ends there? Like, maybe we need to work a little harder to make sure that we're somehow getting that out there, whether it's on our Facebook pages or Nextdoor.
Yeah,
Because maybe we're falling short in some of our areas right there.
Question, how many neighborhood associations have listservs? Like,
Have what?
have a mailing list that they pass on? I know with my neighborhood association,
We
Portland, I definitely,
We do.
I find, I get I may not go to the meetings, but I get all the notices and what's going on.
We have an email that we use and our secretary sends out. Anything that a lot of things that get posted on Nextdoor by the city, or by whether it's the police or by information, anything that comes out, we'll then forward it to our email list too, and then notices of city and anything. But I fail too, sometimes I think of what we talk about here, getting that out. Because that, not everybody's gonna watch a video of tonight's meeting, so maybe that's something we can do, is work a little harder at.
How does McLaughlin, do they have a pretty big email list or?
We do. We just this year started compiling it. It's pretty extensive though. Yeah, we get pretty good draw from
How
our
do
meetings.
people know how to get on it? Like if I just move in, I go, neighborhood.
The only way we've compiled it is we've asked people's permission when they've signed in,
Signed in.
and that's it. So
That's what we do too. Or is it just to get the word out? Like if someone asks me a question, I get an email, I say, hey, if you also want to join, if you can't come to our meetings, but you'd like to join the email list, then I'll get their email and forward that on.
I wonder if there's a way to put on that postcard, like if you get the postcard but you can't come, if there's a way to find out about getting on
like
the.
email
Yeah.
this to.
Well, we list our emails, so that would be we could put that
Like-
on our postcard.
like-
If you would like to get emails, if your neighborhood has it, contact whoever. You could put your contact. That's a good idea. Okay,
And how many, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
how many of you do like annual picnics or Christmas parties? Have you been finding those?
Well, we messed up last year and did it on a Thursday. This year it will be on a Tuesday. It's like, don't do it on a concert night. But most years, then we could get maybe 30 people, and sometimes you do have, because families are welcome, you get people participating that don't always come to the meetings. And we've got a lot of, more people close around Rivercrest show up. So ours is a week from Tuesday. But we don't really, we tried collecting email addresses and weren't having a whole lot of success. And it's like, yeah, I need one more thing. Of course, I can give it to Violet now. But we do the postcards, we put out signs, we do Facebook and Nextdoor. And our Facebook group is really growing. And this last time, somebody on Facebook had been at the previous meeting, posted a question as to what happened at the June meeting. And so I posted the minutes on Facebook, and boy, did we get a good response to that. So we seem to do the best on Facebook for, a certain group, because you figure Rivercrest is still skews old age-wise. But we get a lot of, we have a lot of participation from our older members.
Is it just Berkeley Hills Facebook, or are you on the Chit Chat?
We have our own Facebook
They're
page.
Rivercrest.
Yeah, we have Rivercrest Facebook page. And I kind of try to restrict that it's actually, when we get a request to join, if it says like lives in Portland on Facebook, I'll message them, and make sure they're actually in the neighborhood. But it's been growing quite a bit. So I think it kind of, between all the different formats, and then the fact that we've had a burning issue, our meeting attendance has certainly been better.
Do you promote what happened, what you learn here on your Facebook group too?
Depends. I think Violet usually watches the meeting, and then sometimes I'll send her things, but if we've had like a new event come up or a speaker that has news, so like, when John tells us that the map's out for all the street repairs, Violet or I put that up on Facebook. But it depends on if it's something that is of general interest to everybody, or it's a meeting like tonight where,
There will be some stuff coming up at Roundtable.
oh, okay.
Okay. Anything else on this for tonight? Okay.
Yeah, I think we worked really hard on that. We're good on it. It's good for new members to review it, to see if they can get some new ideas. But we kind of put everything in there we could think of. The tools are there, so.
Yeah, I would like to see us talk about these, like a tent or a static display or, those things that we could come up with, and maybe that comes up when we set our goals, our next goals. We could add that in.
And I can talk to Kristen, who has some great ideas about things like that. Maybe she can share some other ways. I've written this down, I can maybe highlight the list of what I heard today and we can send it to the group.
Okay. All right. Moving on then to National Night Out. Did Laura forward to you the list of what time? And does everybody remember who signed up to do what?
I'm trying to figure out how long I signed up for. I know I said I'd set up.
I know I signed up for their second shift on it.
Right, you were in charge of takedown, and you were in charge of setting up. I mean, there'll be somebody from the city doing that too, right? You said that.
I don't think there'll be any takedown, so I think it's just shift A and B.
Okay, so we just needed to make sure we had somebody else there with Karen, shift A and B. So it goes from, what are the times?
Yeah, I think it starts at 5:30.
5:30.
to
Well, let's see, if it should be on our document. Nope, file not found. What? I don't know.
What was the
Looking at
date?
the info.
Or the time?
Rachel has it's 5:30.
5:30?
5:30 to 8:30? Okay. So we probably did 5:30 to 7 and then 7 to 8:30.
Okay, that may be pushing it with me
Okay.
if the heat's as high as it's supposed to be tomorrow. Yeah.
Does this always have to be on a hottest day of the year?
2 weeks ago, the weather report looked a lot better.
Yeah.
But,
So-
an hour or so
Short of
is
going
about all
back
I'm
and
gonna be
looking
able
at
to
it, I'm
handle.
gonna be actually out of town, but I have a whole bag that I've been collecting of the Mr. Sketchit scented markers. We handed them out one year. I can't remember if we did it there at National Night Out for a safety fair for the
They
kids.
did some last year.
And it was great.
Yeah,
They
the kids
loved
loved
it.
it.
So I have a big bag and then
Stinky
that I will
markers.
drop off at the planning department and they will get brought so that no one has to carry that.
And then I'll
Okay.
provide the Public Works, the really big map of all the neighborhood associations, so that'll be there as well. And we'll look for the
And there'll be some city swag and. All right, so, but we do need to have more people, so can anyone else help tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'm available.
What time frame would you like to be there?
The coolest part of the day.
Sorry.
Well, sorry, we're not gonna be there at 3 a.m, Vernon.
Yeah, even by 8:30, it's not gonna be
Anytime,
that
tell me
cool.
what time to
Okay.
be there and I'll,
Well, can anyone else help at all?
Not Tuesday.
Oh, no.
can I just
Sure.
coordinate with Roy?
Then coordinate with Karen and Roy.
Karen and Roy?
And
Okay.
well, do you have time to look tomorrow before, at the video, to see who else? Because it might be somebody that isn't here tonight
Yeah,
that said
I'll
they
take a
could
look.
come.
Yeah, Roy, as long as you're there by 7, it should be
Oh, I
okay.
will, definitely.
It's not like I have a long ways to go home, I just don't tolerate heat well.
You need a mister right there.
That's true. Actually, what I need to do is cut a hole in my back fence so I
There
don't
you
have to
go.
go all the way around the school.
We'll just get a police escort to drive you home.
There we go.
Fireman's ladder.
Oh, that's true.
Try that, back it up.
You put the snorkel
If anyone's
truck over
watching
it.
this tonight and wants to help out, let us know. Okay. Next, removal of grievances from the municipal code. Christina?
This is a very quick update. At the August work session, the city commission heard both Mike Mitchell and Amy Wilhite.
July.
July, at the July, because excuse me, the July work session, and made a presentation about the recommendation to remove the grievance chapter from 2.30060. And after that work session, the city commission recommended that it go to a public hearing, and that'll be next Wednesday. So I wonder if there's a recommendation for anybody who wants to speak again on that matter next Wednesday, and if it should be Amy and Mike again or someone else.
I believe Mike and I will both be out of town.
Okay, do we have anybody else that willing to make public comment on the matter at hand?
Do you believe they need to hear us again, or
No.
just read can the staff report serve as?
I can, it's always nice to have somebody from the CIC if we can.
I'm also gonna be out of town.
Vern, how about you? Since you were on the grievance committee, how would you
I was
feel?
dreaming.
Oh, we'll still be
I
in
fell
session,
asleep.
They're looking to see if somebody could come on August 15th to the city commission to just be a representative of the CIC in our proposal to take grievances out of the code.
August 15th?
Next Wednesday at 7 PM.
Yeah, I've got dental surgery.
Oh,
Oh, we won't be talking real good.
We'll give you a pass.
So Christina, I didn't hear anything back when I stepped back a little bit on the other change.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna keep this, there was a recommendation, in our work plan to look at elections, but we're gonna look at this grievance as a packet, and I think we could potentially make that change, and some of our other code changes are happening concurrently, but this was a specific grievance proposal that went to the city commission, so they're ready to remove
Okay.
grievances.
Just before December 2020, we need to fix that.
Okay.
So what would you be asking of this person?
Just either two things. One, if just like at the July work session, if the CSE wants to vote to let them speak on behalf of the CSE, or just to be as a member, say, I'm speaking on behalf of myself, but this is the background of how we got here.
Thoughts? Karen's shaking her head, what does that mean?
Karen knows she needs to keep her mouth shut on this topic.
Yeah, staff would probably,
Okay, we'll just let,
if they had, let us know.
okay. So if someone wants to go, they'd be speaking on their own behalf then? Okay, with a little more notice, maybe we could have got. Okay, roundtable. Roy, want to start us off?
Okay, Hillendale and consequently Tower Vista, we had our most recent general meeting on July 11th. We had it at the Hillendale Park, where we had watermelon and cookies, and we had a pretty good turnout. We had a presentation by Mike Shaw, who's an architect for the Clackamas County Extension Project, and they went over that as best as he could. Then Clackamas County actually had a nice little spread out there. They brought a whole lot of people, were giving away like dried fruit and stuff and from everything, and a really good presentation there. And then we also had a presentation from Martin, and I didn't write down his last name, but John Lewis's.
Montalvo.
What was it?
Montalvo.
Montalvo, that's it, yeah. I was trying to remember it. He filled in for John and gave us basically the 45-minute display that John gave us at the meeting. He got it down to about 20 minutes. Really good turnout. So our normal August meeting coincides with the National Night Out, so we kind of try to hunt each other down and spend a few minutes talking, but that's about it. Then we'll have a steering meeting in September 4th, and our next general meeting will be on October 2nd. And that one, so far we know we'll have Mike Mitchell and I don't have the other lady's name that's running against him for the commission.
Yes.
Oh, there you go, okay. Awesome. I am terrible with names, so I apologize. Are both interested in speaking So, that's all.
Okay, Linda?
We had a meeting of the steering committee, last week. It wasn't a normal meeting, but there was an item that's coming up on the 15th for the city commission that we needed to kind of work and deal with. So we met the steering committee, came up with a letter to come through there. And since we were all together, we thought, let's have our regular steering committee meeting we set our agenda. And we're looking on a picnic, but it's just so hard to get responses from people to come through there. So that's kind of what we did, is a quick little impromptu thing.
Okay, Karen?
Our picnic is a week from Tuesday, 5:30 Rivercrest Park, and we provide hot dogs, buns, condiments, chips, beverages. That all comes out of the annual plant sale, and then it's a dessert potluck. So it's for the neighborhood, but friends are invited too, and city staff. You don't even have to bring dessert.
All right, Steve?
Our last steering committee meeting was June 18th, and apparently my wife and I weren't there, but they took a vote and decided to appeal the annexation vote. So, thrilled with that. Let's see, we've got our next steering committee is September 17th, and then a general meeting October 15th, and Mike Mitchell is asked to come. You going to be available?
I have two. I've emailed everybody, but yeah.
I didn't see it. It might have gone to Greg. So hopefully you can. It would be best to not support one particular candidate. So we'd love to see you there.
Okay.
Nothing.
Got it? Okay, Vern?
Our next, or September steering committee, I talked to Roy briefly about it tonight, is coming up with elections for neighborhood association members, officers. So we need to start considering something to put on the card to make people aware that we're going to have the election and gather some interest. Other than that, that's about it. But it was a very good picnic, very well attended. I think we had the two presenters that Roy mentioned brought in some interest that helped us draw, and I think the postcards are, I anyway am starting to see more benefits of the postcard and that concept, because you hear most people talking, or many people talking about, well, I didn't get a postcard for the whatever month it was supposed to be, so they didn't have it on their calendar, and if it's not on their calendar, they're not going to be there. So I think it's a reasonable way to go for, and develop email lists from the people that come to the meeting. They sign in with their email address, develop that into Facebook or email or whatever flavor the population of your neighborhood likes could draw some additional attendance.
Okay. The Gaffney Lane neighborhood, we met on July 12th. That was another thing, Christina, I forgot. We had talked about it at the last meeting. Janice was going to check into it for us, but she's not here, so maybe. But the timing with the postcards, we were asked to get them to Kelsey 3 weeks ahead of time this is when we'd like them to the neighbors. And once again, ours were a week earlier than we had asked. And so that was a big flop because it gets there too early and it gets forgotten. So that was something we really need to fine tune. If it's the fact, if Buell's just if they still want it 3 weeks, maybe Buell's needs to hang on a little longer, just that timing, we need to fine tune it because I know that Barkley Hills had said they had the same problem.
So
They
what
got
were the
there
two
too
neighbor
early.
associations that were early?
But I believe, I know Gaffney Lane was, and I believe it was
Okay.
Barclay Hills.
I will check in with Kelsey and have a, talk to her and figure out.
Because, yeah, there was and I know my secretary was really hot about it, and even accidentally, I think CC'd Dave at Buell's when she meant to only email me saying, great, and he's like, hey, I can't control the post office, so it's like, okay, but maybe we can control when Buell's we're not mad at them, we just need to work out the process. So we had Officer Road come, he's the one of the school resource officers. He did a great job, lots of questions answered. I don't know if he's come to your other neighborhoods, I know that a lot have had the homeless liaison, but that was very beneficial, I thought, to have.
Officer Rhodes was our liaison for quite a long time before he moved into the school, so haven't seen him since then, but we were familiar with him.
Yeah, it was great to hear specifically what was going on in the schools and how they used the resource officer. It was different than a lot of us thought, so that was very helpful. We had quite the discussion on a lot of topics about accessibility for wheelchairs and the roads and crosswalks, and so my secretary and myself both had emailed John and Martin, and we've not heard anything back from them, and so we probably will have to go to the TAC to get some answers if we can't get any answers to some of our questions. But it was really, the people there really participated, so I felt we had a great meeting. We have our steering committee meeting this Thursday night at 7:00 at our secretary's home. And then our next general meeting will be the second Thursday in September, which I believe is the 13th. Dennis?
Yes, we had a steering committee meeting, as Linda referred to. And the neighborhood is concerned about the commission meeting coming up on the 15th. And I don't want to go into that right now, but thereafter I will. We are working very hard to try and figure out, we have some good ideas with respect to our neighborhood picnic, and we have a new business within our Geneva area, and they do little paddle boat runs out into up to the falls, and so when we do coordinate this, I think it'll be quite good for both the neighborhood and their new business. And they're two residents of our area, and we just haven't gotten together. It's a new enterprise for them, and I don't think a lot of our neighbors can even know exactly the benefit. Anyway, it's gelling, and we're hopeful for it. Next meeting will be on the 20th of September, and I think that's enough.
Perfect.
James?
McLaughlin Neighborhood, next meeting is September 6th. From what I've been told, we're going to have it at the Pioneer Center. Everyone's invited, and it's going to be a candidates forum. Maybe. Yeah, she said yes, all right. And I missed the last meeting because this is my busy time of year at work and kids and summer, and sorry.
All right, thank you.
I only have one thing, the 2018 Volunteer Recognition Party, Johnny Limbo and the Lugnuts. Everyone who's here today can take one. This is your ticket in for a free dinner. And then please send them back because I'll mail the extras to the members who are not here tonight. So we very much thank you for being volunteers, and this is our chance to say thank you in a big way, but also thank you every month for coming and being part of the community.
Before I go to Tony, I forgot to, it's been requested that we pass out some flyers for the Downtown Association is having a volunteer, or a community brainstorming session. And so they have a whole bunch of project ideas they would like to get people's input on. It's August 21st at 5:30 at the library. So there's a website you can go to, downtownoregoncity.org/RSVP, to let them know you're coming. You can take these flyers, hand them out to people, or share it with your neighborhood. Send those around. If you need more, we can send you an email to get more. So sorry, I forgot to send that out. Tony?
Thanks for everyone's patience. We're getting through construction season here. 99 East, Rockfall work's done. 15's been paved, still need to put the stripes on there. The New stoplights on Washington are up, so those will hopefully be operational pretty soon, once we get the rest of that completed. Center streets, or High Street's moving along pretty well. A little bit more work to do there. That one was a big infrastructure project for us, a lot of reconnecting water lines to homes and whatnot, so that's what's going on right now. Once that's completed, then they'll start working on the curbs, new ramps, and then the paving out there. So that's one of our bigger projects this summer. It's taken up quite a bit of time. For the Willamette Falls Legacy Project, we had a partners meeting 2 weeks ago. I may have given you the update that we'd submitted the Phase 1 Riverwalk permits to the Army Corps of Engineers for their review, as well as our Section 106 review process that we need to go through. We received initial feedback from the Corps. We had gone in with our concept designs. They're requesting additional detail, which means we have to get our construction drawings up to about 30% design. So the partners group we had budgeted those funds to be spent. We were just planning to spend them later in the year once we're a little bit further through the permit process. So they approved us to go ahead and spend that money earlier to get those construction drawings done and then submitted into the Corps to get that process moving. So that's really all I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Shaw?
So, and just for you folks here that are planning to have candidates at your meetings and stuff, I too am available, even though I don't have an opponent, but be happy to come and talk about, what my program is and what's been going on. So I'm available for that too. So second thing is I belong to this organization called Oregon City Together. And their mission is to kind of contain the use of marijuana within the school district, especially at the high school. And they come up with these programs, and they usually do them at the high school to keep parents informed of what's going on. And we've just had the latest student health survey done, and it's kind of a little shocking on parts of it. And what I want to do is have a presentation here to kind of reach out to the neighborhoods instead of having this at the high school like we usually do and have people try to come there and stuff. And we get fairly good attendance at that. But I think we want to look at reaching out into the neighborhoods here and actually come to you guys and just go one-on-one with you, because these are your kids and stuff. And this is, we're talking about 6th grade now. Even down to that. So, like I say, it's a little shocking, and I thought maybe about doing the presentation here first, and then going out into your neighborhood. We can go out and do presentations at your actual neighborhood associations. So, it's either that, or I don't know how soon we can get on the docket here for this, or else we can go right to your neighborhoods if you really want to hear about this sooner.
How long of a presentation are you envisioning?
It may be 15 minutes or so, yeah.
I think it'd be great to have it here.
Yeah, I want to
We had
start.
OC Together come several years ago to our neighborhood. They've come to some of our meetings when we've had topics too. Great presentations that they've done.
Yeah. So anyway, I would like to I'll be in touch with you, I guess, Amy, and see when we could get 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
Or,
that should be easy to do.
Christina, is it you?
Sure, I'll work with Amy.
Okay, let me just get in touch with her and we'll get it lined up for this, and it's
Yeah,
kind of unique information here for you, so, thank you.
that's great. Hey, anything else before we, Steve?
One more item. This weekend is the Arts Fair out at the end of the Oregon Trail. So if you want to come see local artists, and the Friends of the Library will have a booth there.
Do you know what the hours are on that?
Rachel?
Uh,
What's the hour?
Start to end.
Yep. When it opens to when it closes.
I'll bet we can, online, where would we find it?
Usually 10 to 5, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to swear to
Sorry,
it.
all right. Well, with that, we are adjourned until October.
Yeah.